So I'm going to start with my foundation. I'm not going to do like a really heavy foundation today. I'm just going to do something that is more just a daytime kind of look. So I'm going to start with my Naked foundation. This is the one that I like. I will go in with some concealer as well, just to hide any imperfections under my eyes, dark circles, things like that. If you guys have troubles with acne, you can use a concealer that basically matches your skin to cover it up. If you've got severe acne and you want to correct some of it, I would probably consider getting some sort of a yellow corrector or a green corrector. That'll help you out for sure. Yeah, so I'm just going to start with my foundation. I'm going to use probably a brush like so. You can use one like that. You can use one like that. And you can also use a buffing brush. I don't have one handy, but yeah. So I'm just gonna start. When I start on myself, I start on the inside, so the center of my face, and I'm going to work my way out. We do have more imperfections, more redness, stuff like that tends to be more in the center of our face. That's where a lot of our unevenness comes from. So if you start there and blend yourself out. So yeah, I'm just going to dig in and go. And you can see already how just a little bit of foundation. Now I've also already prepped my skin. I have cleansed my skin this morning with a cleanser and then a toner. So look at that already. See the difference? And that's just a tiny bit of foundation. So I did cleanser, toner, moisturizer already this morning, and I'm not one that really uses primers much. So I'm just going to keep blending out to the center. If you find your foundation tends to look streaky, what I do is then I'll go one way and then I will just go like so. And what that does is just helps kind of smooth it over top of your hairs. That's generally why we see some of those brush marks. That's more into the hairs than anything. So if you just kind of flatten them around, you'll be okay. Forehead. I do my eyes just a little bit because they're uneven too, right? Just a little bit more. And then wherever you feel like you have more unevenness and a little bit more where you need a little bit more coverage, just go back over it. I tend to need more right in here. I find on my cheeks, because I do have quite rosy cheeks, I do tend to find that they stick out quite a bit. So I like to go over that a little bit more. You can pat it in like so if you want for more added coverage. If you're putting a concealer on, I would recommend also patting that out instead of swiping. You don't want to swipe away anything that you've worked on. And I always do my foundation before I do any heavy correcting, because I want to see what my foundation is going to take care of for me. Get into your nasal folds. They always tend to be a little bit red. There we go. Okay. So see, and notice I also will wrap that down under my jaw so I don't have a mask at all, and it just blends everything else and makes it look pretty finished. Okay, so now I'm going to go with my concealer, and I'm not going to do a heavy conceal, you guys. I'm just going to do a basic concealer daytime look. You don't need to be heavy for daytime. So I'm just taking care of those dark circles right there. And I like to put, and this is me, I'm a little bit maturing, but if you want to give anybody a little bit of highlighting lift, a little concealer on the outside corner of the eye, let it set for a minute, and then you can start blending it. And I start from the outside and work my way back in because I do want the heaviest concentration to be where my blueness is. And then I blend it out. You could use a brush. I like my little blender for doing that. I also have a little brush like this. I'll show you the difference. So I have a brush like this that I do tend to also use. It's a dual fiber. Again, starting at the outside and just blending it back in. You can use your finger. I like the finger too because it warms and melts everything nicely into your skin. So you can also do that. There we go. Good so far, hey? Okay, so that's foundation. Pretty basic, pretty easy. Don't need to spend an hour doing foundation by no means. Should be really quite fast. So yeah, next I'm going to be moving on to contouring right away.